In the year 2478, the Galactic Federation had existed for nearly a millennium, comprising over 20 species capable of faster-than-light (FTL) travel. The Federation's cutting-edge technology centered on subspace engines, quantum drives, that utilized pure quantum-40 as fuel. Earth had joined the Federation just 15 years ago, after discovering FTL methods, when humans were still conducting experimental solar system exploration missions. In the eyes of many elder species, humans remained mere rookies, ridiculed for still using combustion engines. Admiral Kenzie Blackwood sat at the far corner of the Federation Council chamber, representing Earth's highest authority in the fleet. Once commander of the EEU's Intrepid, she had earned fame for her tactical prowess during the interception battle at Vulcan's Rift. Beside her, Dr. Marcus Alvin, head of Federation Collaborative Sciences, responsible for engine research and technical tactical improvements, fidgeted with his datapad. The former Terra Nova Space Engineering Academy professor seemed uncomfortable among the alien dignitaries. Around them sat dozens of veteran species representatives: Aquilarians with their quantum foam engines, Xerillians with gravitic inversion technology, and Kraths with their insectoid resonance drives. The meeting focused on allocating quantum-40 resources to meet frontier expansion needs. Aquilarian Counselor Vexto presented a comparative technology report. Humans have only been truly spacefaring for about 300 years, he said with barely concealed disdain. And they still rely on burning metal contraptions. Most representatives snickered at the notion of burning hydrogen-oxygen or chemical combustion. Kenzie straightened in her seat, her voice level but tense. Just one day without quantum-40, and those advanced engines become useless. Marcus frantically documented evidence showing how human oxidation engines consumed cheaper, universally available fuel. The tension thickened as Vexto dismissed them. But can your engines propel an entire fleet without absorbing exotic energy sources? Suddenly, a Fraxian messenger appeared via hologram. Federation Council, hear me. The Draknor Collective has launched full-scale war in the Kharid Sector periphery. Our 7th Fleet at Kelid Prime has been annihilated, and dozens of colony systems face imminent destruction. The Federation needs immediate reinforcements. Kenzie's expression hardened, her eyes cold. Half the Federation had just suffered defeat due to quantum-40 shortages. Marcus asked urgently, "Shall we order immediate deployment, Admiral?" She nodded with determination. We must prove that oxygen-burning engines aren't just for exploratory travel. They can save the Federation. The scene shifted 5 months later. The Federation fleet at Tyrillian Prime lay abandoned. Draknor ships swarming. Federation command begging for aid. Kenzie and Marcus, now commanding Earth's battle group, received their mission. Reach Tyrillian Prime and restore Federation control. But you're still using hydrogen-oxygen combustion engines. The Federation once mocked us as rust buckets. Can you succeed? The Earth fleet assembled. 1 Apex battleship, UEE's Resilience, flagship. 2 destroyers, UEE's Raptor and UEE's Defiant. 3 patrol ships, UEE's Phantom, stealth-capable, along with 6 Mosquito-class fighter squadrons and 4 Thunder-class bomber teams. Their tactical arsenal included Dragon's Breath, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen bombs, and Firebreak, oxygen injection penetration missiles. Dr. Amara Okafor on the Resilience finalized the oxygen shock plan. Thunder-class ships would extract oxygen from Da'ara vessels during combat, filter it, and increase concentration to 30% above Federation standard. Meanwhile, the oxygen injection engines on Raptor and Phantom would be adjusted to burn oxygen hydrogen at high efficiency, allowing double the normal maneuverability. Kenzie questioned herself. Are we being misjudged simply because we joined the Federation too late? Could this risky plan turn into disaster? Dr. Marcus Alvin worried. I've studied oxygen engine theory, But this is my first direct battlefield application. If we fail, how much ridicule will Earth face? The fleet implemented silent running through the Drua sector, adjusting cooling systems to oxygen recycling to reduce heat signatures, making them undetectable to Drua subspace sensors. Tension mounted as UEES Phantom ships slipped past a small patrol of 3 DRA scouts. Pilots performed drift silent maneuvers, shutting down most power systems and switching to low-frequency radio antennas to avoid DARA radar detection. While DRA possessed quantum scanners for subspace tracking, the Phantoms had installed temporary frequency nullifiers that allowed them to slip by. Stress peaked whenever a Phantom was nearly detected, forcing pilots into desperate evasive actions. Earth's fleet successfully infiltrated the Tyrrhenian Prime system. The planetary beacon showed the Federation fleet in disrepair, communication systems nearly paralyzed. Kenzie announced, "We'll proceed with Phase 2, resupply and response." The Resilience docked alongside the Eternal Light, Federation flagship. EVA team engineers installed pressurized conduits between Resilience's oxygen chambers, holding double standard capacity, and Eternal Light's emergency oxygen storage. The operation proceeded under extreme tension due to the Jurassic Protocol. Eternal Light's oxygen compartments were damaged, requiring a 200-meter tube insertion through the outer armor plating, just as the new conduit was installed. Overload warning flashed red on Eternal Light's control panel. Oxygen pressure surged. An Aquilarian engineer had to meticulously adjust the pressure valves every second. Otherwise, the oxygen compartment would explode, potentially puncturing the armor. Meanwhile, Earth was losing contact signals from the Federation's lithium rescue supply team as DRA had planted plasma mines nearby. Thanks to the timely supply operation, Eternal Light gradually restarted its backup engines. Weapon systems revived, and information radar reactivated. Kenzie reported, "Target locked, DRA destroyers approaching." On Eternal Light's bridge, Kenzie, Elena from Resilience, Marcus, and Grand Admiral Quiox, Xerillian, convened for a strategy session. Quiox admitted, "We've been too complacent with subspace engines. Now, we need Earth ships for outer perimeter escort and draw radar jamming." Marcus proposed simultaneously activating Dragon's Breath and Firebreak to eliminate at least 30% of DARA forces in the initial engagement. Federation officers hesitated, fearing human oxygen-burning technology lacked reliability. Kenzie insisted, "This is our only chance. If we don't prove ourselves quickly, Tyrrhenian Prime will fall." Forces were assigned. UEE's Raptor, Captain Zoe Tanaka, and 4 Mosquito fighters would operate on the perimeter, creating infrared interference to lure DRA forces away from Eternal Light. UEE's Phantom, Commander Alexa Vulov, would conduct close-range infiltration, installing siren devices, infrasonic resonance, to disrupt DRA command coordination. 6 Thunder-class bombers, Commander Diane Carter, carrying Dragon's Breath, would concentrate on attacking DRA's main gun towers. UEE's Resilience and UEE's Defiant would guard Eternal Light, ready to level any approaching vessels. The battle commenced with Raptor and Mosquito launching light attacks on DARA destroyers to lure them from formation, while Phantom ships infiltrated undetected. Captain Zoe Tanaka, UEES Raptor, engaged Cathal, veteran DRA cruiser captain, exchanging continuous fire before withdrawing when pressed. Meanwhile, Alexa Vulov, UEE's Phantom, infiltrated near the DRA Dreadnought command ship. The siren device attached to the DRA hull neutralized all internal sensors, causing the DRA captain to lose orientation. When Phase 1 proved effective, Diane Carter ordered Dragon's Breath detonation. 4 bombs dropped precisely onto the protruding Quantum 40 storage compartments on DARA cruisers. Oxygen gas plasma exploded, triggering a chain reaction with leaking Quantum 40, causing cruisers to explode from within. Next, the Prometheus, Dr. Eliza Okafor, launched 3 firebreak missiles in coordination. The missiles drilled through thin armor, pumping purified oxygen into engine compartments, causing metal decomposition reactions. From the initial 10 draw cruisers, 7 were completely neutralized within 2 minutes, the remaining 3 retreating in panic. When the 3 remaining Dara vessels attempted to attack the pursuing Mosquito aircraft, pilot Sophia Rhee skillfully executed a flip-and-stop maneuver, causing the 3 pursuers to overshoot, immediately becoming locked-on targets and destroyed by UAV firepower from Raptor. The UEE's resilience team fired railguns, ultra-fast plasma particle cannons, destroying the remnants of the DRA formation. The most intense confrontation occurred when the Dre Dreadnought detected Phantom and launched EMP missiles toward it. Alexa Vulov activated evasive thrusters in a split second, suffering temporary electrical shock but maintaining the siren device attached to the Dra Dreadnought. As the Dreadnought lost command, the entire Dra formation instantly lost cohesion. Federation losses included 3 resilience ships with minor damage, 12 injured pilots, and 5 casualties. DRA losses approached 78% of their naval force, including 5 cruisers, 1 dreadnought, and 10 patrol ships destroyed. Grand Admiral Quaox, Zerillion, grudgingly stated, "We underestimated humans. Oxygen technology is actually a war-changing advancement." The Federation Council members began to take notice, with Aquilarian, Krath, and Fraxian representatives silently studying the battlefield map. Federation engineers collaborated with Dr. Marcus Alvin and Dr. Amara Okafor to integrate supplemental oxygen drive (SOD) systems into the remaining 150 warships. The testing process lasted 72 hours, with all ships equipped with auxiliary oxygen conduits, combustor tune-ups, and safety pressure valves allowing high-pressure oxygen combustion. Aquilarian engineers worried, the SOD system is only for emergencies, not a Quantum 40 replacement. If overused, engines will overheat and explode. Marcus reassured them, "We've reinforced the heat absorption layers. Most ships have passed stress tests." Kenzie felt pressure. Could oxygen engines be a long-term solution, or merely temporary? She recalled her first witness of the oxygen rocket thermodynamic model at Terra Nova. The feeling of ancient breath in the cold void of space. Grand High Chancellor Zix announced, "The Helios Cluster Research Group has discovered 3 Type O stars with oxygen and helium concentrations 50 times standard. We need to capture them, build oxygen extraction stations, and secure an infinite reserve." Kenzie and Marcus received orders. Lead the Earth fleet into Helios Cluster. Use SOD to attack enemies when necessary. But your primary objective is establishing the O2 extraction outpost. Within Federation scientific circles, controversy erupted. Would extracting pure oxygen from stars violate the stellar preservation doctrine? Fraxians worried that damaging Type O stars would cause irreparable radiation. Dr. Marcus Alvin experienced internal conflict. He wanted thorough research but feared unforeseen consequences if photon mutations occurred. A toxic gas mass could leak into space, transforming neighboring star systems. A warning came through. A small Dra fleet, called Dra Remnant, hiding in the nebula vortex, using residual plasma trails to evade radar, had suddenly attacked the Federation's logistics group, 12 O2 reserve supply ships, en route to Helios Cluster. Federation Supply Ship Commander, Captain Lyra Xanth, faced Captain Reg, former Dr. Remnant Cruiser Commander. Reg used residual plasma to blind sensors, forcing Lyra to deploy Shadow Falcons, Mosquito interceptors, for coordinated attacks, low-level maneuvers, and targeting oxygen pump vulnerabilities. When the largest oxygen conduit on a supply ship was shot open, oxygen spilled and ignited, nearly incinerating the entire vessel. an Aquilarian engineer, risked his life using a plasma knife to cut the pipeline and stop the leak. The UEE's Raptor group coordinated with UEE's Phantom to arrive timely for rescue, shooting down the DRA remnant cruiser. The supply group survived, but lost 40% of their oxygen reserves. Kenzie directed, "We still have 60%. Must conserve every liter. Helios cluster won't be peaceful." Helios cluster comprised 3 overlapping typo stars, surrounded by remnant blue pulsing plasma. Helios alpha emitted intense yellow rays. Blue merged from Helios beta. Helios gamma shot dense helium-ion streams. Temperatures approached 40,000 K, with dense UV and X-rays. Federation surveys showed Helios alpha's surface had 68% oxygen concentration, compared to the average 20%. Deploying stellar O2 extractor units, SOEU, required installing canopies, special protective shells, to launch deep into Helios alpha's photosphere for O2 extraction. Before activation, dangers emerged. Aquilarian engineers feared, any pipeline too close will be destroyed by radiation in just 7 seconds. Marcus and the technical team had to adjust special heat shields. As the Federation prepared to activate SOEU, DRA remnant reinforced with 2 cruisers and 1 dreadnought, simultaneously. Pirates of the Void, space raiders, unexpectedly arrived, seeking to steal oxygen resources for black market sales. Kenzie called for a sandwich battle. Federation and humans would attack in coordination, forcing draw remnant forward, while pirates inside, near Helios Center, would retreat. The UEE's resilience moved adjacent to Helios Alpha, launching solar shield pods, energy shields absorbing radiation, while UEE's Raptor and UEE's Phantom maneuvered between plasma rays, neutralizing long-range plasma artillery from the DRA Dreadnought. When the DRA remnant Dreadnought fired residual plasma missiles toward Swando, EU, Alexa Vulov employed the plasma slipstream technique, reversing plasma flow with reverse oxygen thrust, while launching EMP torpedoes to cut the Dreadnought's control cluster. The Dreadnought ceased operations, falling into Raptor's firepower trap. Pirates of the Void, Captain Karzul, launched Voidstalker's fighters, hydrogen-sulfur gas engine systems, approaching to deploy oxygen extraction tubes. Raptor and Phantom ships combined forces, launching Dragon's Breath in circular patterns, causing air temperature to spike suddenly, igniting the Voidstalkers. Dr. Marcus Alvin and Dr. Amara Okafor gave the order to charge SOEU, inserting conduits deep into Helios Alpha's photosphere. The spectral light changed. The system successfully activated, ejecting a reverse stream of 50% pure ozone, transforming into supercompressed powder stored in O2 storage arrays, twice the size of a standard ship. When Helios Alpha ejected a CME, coronal mass ejection, a solar storm, a hot plasma wave struck the Resilience. The ship traversed the plasma zone, its energy shield vibrating, nearly breaking. Kenzie calmly purified the oxygen stream, helping SOEU transition from operational state to radiation mirror mode to reflect heat, saving the ship from incineration. Doctra remnant forces were completely defeated. Pirates of the Void fled in disarray. The Federation and humans secured rights to harvest Helios Alpha. The Helios Harvester drilling platform embedded into the photosphere, extracting oxygen from the star's surface. After 48 hours, the Federation and humans had stored 3 billion tons of pure oxygen, sufficient reserve supply for a decade. Federation engineers, led by Dr. Marcus Alvin, began implementing a continuous process, converting Helios oxygen into liquid form at 200 degrees Celsius, then transporting it to critical outposts. Marcus stood before the brilliant Helios panorama, wondering, would exclusive large-scale extraction disrupt universal balance, Are we repeating the mistakes of old explorers, pouring dollars into resources, and forgetting our galactic responsibility? Kenzie reflected. We just saved the Federation, but a greater responsibility begins. Now the Federation might abuse oxygen, controlling politics. At the Federation Council, experienced species raised concerns. Councillor Vexto, Aquilarian. The Federation's unlimited oxygen supply will shift the power balance. Earth humans could monopolize cosmic minerals. General Tisril, Krath. We need a treaty to protect Helios resources, preventing new wars. Zix, Fraxian. O2 extraction technology should be fairly shared, with no coercion. Kenzie proposed the Galactic O2 Accord, a new treaty to manage and monitor Helios oxygen distribution for all Federation members. 2 years had passed since the Battle of Helios Cluster. The Federation headquarters on Proxima Centauri bustled with activity as delegates from 27 species gathered for the anniversary celebration of the Galactic O2 Accord. The Grand Hall sparkled with crystalline chandeliers, each representing a different member world. Admiral Kenzie Blackwood stood on the raised platform, her dress uniform adorned with the newly created Stellar Medal, awarded to those who had saved the Federation during the Drachnor War. The medal featured a small vial containing oxygen extracted from Helios Alpha, encased in transparent aluminum. 2 years ago, she began, addressing the assembly. Many of you laughed at our rust buckets. Today, those same engines power half the Federation's advanced fleet. A murmur of acknowledgement rippled through the crowd. Dr. Marcus Alvin joined her at the podium, his scientific robes replaced with the formal attire of the newly established Interspecies Engineering Council. He carried a holographic display showing the latest hybrid propulsion system, a perfect marriage of quantum drive technology and Earth's oxygen combustion chambers. The Helios Quantum Integrated Drive represents what we can achieve through cooperation rather than ridicule, Marcus explained. By harnessing both technologies, we've created engines that can operate under any conditions, whether Quantum 40 is available or not. Aquilarian Councillor Vexto approached the podium, his gelatinous form shimmering with humility. 2 years ago, I stood before you all and mocked human technology. Today, I acknowledge my error. He extended a tentacle toward Kenzie. Your oxygen tanks didn't just save our fleets. They saved our perspective. The ceremony continued with representatives from each species stepping forward to sign the permanent extension of the Galactic O2 Accord. The treaty now included provisions for sharing technological advances across all member worlds and establishing joint defense protocols that incorporated both conventional and exotic propulsion methods. Across the galaxy, Earth's reputation had transformed. Human engineers were now sought after for their practical approach to problem-solving. Oxygen redundancy systems had become standard on all Federation vessels, regardless of their primary propulsion method. At the Helios cluster, the extraction operations had evolved into something more sophisticated. Rather than simply mining the stars for oxygen, the Joint Federation Earth Science Team had developed a symbiotic harvesting technique. The new method extracted only excess oxygen produced during stellar fusion, actually stabilizing the star's burn rates and potentially extending their lifespans by billions of years. Captain Alexa Vulov, now Admiral Vulov, commanded the permanent defense fleet stationed at Helios. Her stealth tactics had been incorporated into standard Federation battle doctrine, and the Phantom-class vessels had been expanded into an entire line of multi-purpose ships. Maintain vigilance, she instructed her officers during their daily briefing aboard the UEES Shadow Strike. The Drachnor Collective may have retreated beyond the outer rim, but intelligence suggests they're rebuilding, and they won't underestimate oxygen technology a second time. Indeed, intercepted Drachnor communications revealed their scientists were frantically attempting to reverse engineer captured Earth vessels. They had recognized too late the strategic advantage of independent propulsion systems not reliant on exotic fuel sources. Back at the celebration, Kenzie found a moment of quiet on a balcony overlooking the capital city. Dr. Amara Okafor joined her, now wearing the insignia of the Federation's Science Directorate. "Sometimes I wonder," Amara said, "what would have happened if the Draknor had never attacked? Would we still be the laughingstock of the Federation?" Kenzie smiled, watching the sunset reflect off the city's spires. "Perhaps that was our true advantage. When everyone underestimates you, they never see you coming." "The oxygen tanks," Amara laughed. "Who would have thought?" "It wasn't just the technology," Kenzie replied. "It was the mindset. Earth humans never forgot how to make do with what we have. The other species became so dependent on Quantum 40 that they couldn't imagine alternatives." Their conversation was interrupted by Captain Zoe Tanaka, her uniform now bearing the stripes of a Commodore. "Admiral, Doctor, you're missing the fireworks. They're using oxygen-nitrogen mixtures to create colors no one's ever seen before." As they returned to the celebration, Kenzie caught sight of Grand Admiral Quiox, deep in conversation with several Krath engineers. They were examining schematics for what appeared to be a new class of hybrid vessel. "The Resilience class," Quiox explained, when he noticed Kenzie's interest. "Named after your flagship. Every ship will carry both quantum drives and oxygen combustion systems. We're not making the same mistake twice." The fireworks began, illuminating the night sky with impossible colors. Chemical reactions only possible through the precise oxygen mixtures developed in Earth laboratories. The gathered delegates watched in awe as patterns formed and dissolved, telling the story of the Federation's near fall and ultimate salvation. In orbit above, the UEE's Eternal Flame, the newest Earth contribution to the Federation fleet, maintained its watch. Its hybrid engines hummed quietly, ready to switch between quantum drive and oxygen combustion at a moment's notice. On its hull, a new inscription had been added in the languages of all Federation species. "Never mock what you don't understand. Today's laughter might be tomorrow's salvation." Captain Elena Rigby stood on the bridge, remembering the battles that had brought them to this point. "Set course for the Helios patrol route," she ordered. "Standard oxygen burn until we clear the atmosphere, then quantum drive to destination." As the ship accelerated away from Proxima Centauri, its engines leaving a distinctive blue-white trail, Elena couldn't help but smile. 2 years ago, that same engine signature had been a source of mockery. Now, it was recognized throughout the galaxy as the mark of humanity's contribution, the sign that help was on the way. The Eternal Flame disappeared into FTL, carrying with it the legacy of those first oxygen tanks that had changed the Federation forever. In the darkness of deep space, beyond the Federation's borders, other eyes watched. Species yet unknown to humanity observed the rapid ascension of Earth from newcomer to key Federation member. Some saw opportunity for alliance, others potential threats to their dominance. But all of them noted one critical fact in their reports: never underestimate the species that carries its own oxidizer. They'll burn through any obstacle in their path. Far from Federation space, in the shadowy reaches of the Draknor Collective's new sanctuary, High Commander Vextral studied the recovered fragments of a human oxygen engine. His scientists had spent months trying to replicate its efficiency, with limited success. "Such a simple concept," he hissed, mandibles clicking in frustration. "Carrying your own oxidizer rather than relying on extracting it from space." His lieutenant approached cautiously. "The new prototypes are ready for testing. High Commander, we've incorporated what we've learned from the human designs." Vextral moved to the observation deck, watching as the test vessel prepared for ignition. "If this works, we begin planning our return. The Federation has grown complacent in their victory." The test ship's engines flared to life, a perfect replica of Earth's oxygen combustion technology. For 30 seconds, it performed flawlessly. Then, catastrophically, it exploded in a brilliant ball of flame. Vextral didn't flinch as debris scattered across the testing range. "What happened?" he demanded. "The humans include something they call safety protocols," the chief scientist explained. "We thought they were unnecessary limitations and removed them." "Reinstall them," Vextral ordered. "Learn everything. The humans master basics before advancing." "We tried to skip steps." He turned from the window. "When we return, we will face both quantum drives and oxygen combustion. We must be ready for both." As he departed the observation deck, Vextral paused to study a hologram of Admiral Kenzie Blackwood, captured during the Battle of Helios. "You laugh at us now, human, but we're learning your secrets, one oxygen molecule at a time." On Earth, at the Terra Nova Space Engineering Academy, a new class of cadets sat in the lecture hall, named after Dr. Marcus Alvin. The instructor pointed to an ancient rocket engine displayed prominently at the front of the room. "This," she said, "is where it all began. Chemical propulsion, oxygen and hydrogen, compressed, ignited, controlled. The same principles that saved the Federation." A young cadet raised his hand. "But aren't we primarily using quantum drives now?" The instructor smiled. "Yes, but every Federation ship carries oxygen propulsion as backup. That's the lesson we taught the galaxy. Never rely on just one technology, no matter how advanced it seems." She activated a holographic display showing the Battle of Tyrrhenian Prime. When everything else failed, when Quantum 40 supplies were cut off, when the Draknor thought victory was assured, it was these primitive engines that turned the tide. The cadets watched in awe as the historical footage showed UEE's resilience leading the charge, its oxygen engines burning bright against the darkness of space. "Remember this lesson," the instructor concluded. "Sometimes the oldest solutions are the most reliable. And never, ever let anyone laugh at your oxygen tanks." Admiral Kenzie Blackwood stood alone on the observation deck of Helios Station, watching the rhythmic pulses of Helios Alpha. The giant star seemed to breathe as the SOEU systems carefully extracted its oxygen-rich outer layers. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Dr. Marcus Alvin asked, joining her at the viewport. "Hard to believe it's been 5 years since we first arrived here." "5 years since they stopped laughing at our engines," Kenzie replied. Marcus nodded. "The latest Federation report shows every member world has now adopted dual propulsion systems. Your legacy, Admiral." Kenzie shook her head. "Not mine. Humanity's. We never forgot our roots while reaching for the stars." Together, they watched as a new Federation vessel emerged from FTL near the station. Its design was unlike anything seen before, a perfect blend of technologies from a dozen different species, including the distinctive oxygen combustion pods of Earth design. "The next generation," Marcus observed. "Neither purely Federation nor purely Earth technology." "Better than both," Kenzie said with satisfaction, "because it respects both." As the ship docked with the station, its captain transmitted a message. "UEES Blackwood requesting permission to offload new oxygen processing equipment." Marcus smiled. "They named it after you." "They'd better have included decent oxygen tanks," Kenzie replied with a laugh. "Otherwise, what was the point of all this?" As they turned to greet the arriving crew, the stars of Helios Cluster continued their eternal burn, now harnessed by the very technology once mocked as obsolete. The oxygen tanks had not only saved the Federation, they had transformed it, ensuring that no single technology dependency would ever again bring it to the brink of destruction. And somewhere in the vast archives of the Federation historical records, a simple entry marked the turning point that changed galactic history. "Federation Salvation Event, Tyrrhenian Prime, 2478. The day aliens stopped laughing at human engines and started respecting their oxygen tanks."